hands together for the great, the one, the only, Larry, the Cable Guy. Come on.
Daggone. Well, look at this. Man, thanks for having me. Who canceled? So, let's see. Donald Trump is president. Larry the Cable Guy is speaking at Liberty. The Lord is truly coming back soon here. It is so good to be here. You know, the last time I was in Virginia, the governor come down here and presented me with the key to the 24-hour fitness. So I was excited about it. I'm actually celebrating a special time myself today. It is a double anniversary for me here today. It is my 28th year in the comedy business. And please remain seated. And my 5th year being funny. So I'm excited about all of it. So thank you so much for being a part of it. Thank you very much. I guess I should do this before I do anything else. Get her done. Get her done! That's right. They say get her done everywhere. This is how they say get her done in China. That's right. This is how they say get her done in Nairobi. That's no lie. You can Google that. All right? So I got to tell you this story. My grandpa's 93 years old. He come over to the house the other day, and he's dating this gal that's 87. And I was having a dinner, and we was sitting there eating, and he leans over to me, he says, "Hey, you think she's hot?" "Well, I think she is now, Grandpa. Her face has been in the soup for 10 minutes. Don't you? Here's the deal. Don't you hate it when somebody says you look exactly like somebody? And every time you see them, they go, "Boy, you look just like so-and-so." Then you finally meet so-and-so. Ugliest idiot you've ever seen in your entire life. And then you realize, dadgum, I look just like that ugly goof. It makes me madder than Ronnie Millsap in a corn maze. So check this out. This is true. So I go to a diner the other day, get something to eat, and waitress goes, "Can I help you?" I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "Holy mackerel." I go, "What's wrong?" She goes, "You look just like the cook." I go, "Get the heck out of here." She goes, "No, you could be his twin brother. I ain't never seen nothing like it." I said, "Well, let me see this good-looking dude." This dude come wallered out of there, big old head, looked like they've been cleaning the grill with his face for the last 25 years. I ain't kidding. You should have seen the size of his head. I ain't kidding. His driver's license picture was an eyebrow, all right? Dadgum, and I looked exactly like him. Irritated me. Then she goes, "What do you want to eat? It's on the house." I'm like, "I lost my appetite, all right? Maybe some sausage patties, so I ain't got to look at that ugly idiot right there." So this happened to me, too. Check this out. So I go to PetSmart to get some dog food for my dog. And the girl goes, I pay for my dog food, and then the girl goes, "Do you want to give an extra $20 to help feed the starving animals?" I'm like, "What do you think I'm doing now, all right? Putting this on my cornflakes?" And she goes, "You look familiar." I go, "I'm a comedian." She goes, "No, that's not it." And she goes, "You're that cook up at the diner I seen last week." I just in Las Vegas. I was up there. You know what I hate about Las Vegas? All these environmental fancy toilets they put in. You ever see them? You ever see the ones that flush right when you stand up? Don't that irritate you? Here I walk in there to do my business, gone. I didn't have time to Instagram it or nothing. You know what I mean? There I am staring at the world record. Now I can't get no proof of the dadgum thing. Technology's killing me. The maid embarrassed me. She walked in on me naked at 3 o'clock in the morning. You believe that? What in the world's a maid doing on an elevator at 3 o'clock in the morning, all right? So then I'm on the elevator, and this dude walk in there in one of them neck halos. You ever see them neck halos? Like it busted their neck? Anybody speak English at all in here? Feel like I'm talking to the UN and nobody has their headphones on. But he got a neck halo on. I'm standing there, he come walking in there like this. I'm like, what in the world? Then he goes, I go, what's wrong with you? He goes, I think I lost my car keys. I said, you'd lose your head if it wasn't bolted on to you right now. You do know that, right? Every time I go to Las Vegas, there's always a buddy of mine going like this. You going to Las Vegas? Yeah, why? Here's $300. Gamble it for me. All right. Call me up 2 days later. How am I doing? You lost $300. All right, I apologize. How are you doing? I'm up 300. I'm doing pretty good out here. I'm having a good time out here. I was just with the troops in Fort Benning, Georgia here not long ago. And it was weird, though. They didn't want me to perform. They just wanted me to show up and show them all what they used to look like before they went to boot camp. I got to lose some weight. My tapeworm had a heart attack last week. All right, I ain't kidding with you. I ain't kidding with you. You know you're getting fat when you can use the back of your neck as a travel pillow. And I try to lose weight. I do everything. It's hard to do. I saw something the other day change my life. I read an article in a magazine, and it said, carbohydrates is the fastest way to the grave. So I told my wife right then, I said, sweetheart, circle the calendar. From now on, I'm done. That's it. From now on, I ain't reading nothing. Tried to lose weight, went to see a dietitian. These guys are a bunch of idiots. You ever see these dietitians? I go see a dietitian. He says to me, all this money I spend, he goes, Larry, what you need to do, you need to eat 6 times a day. I already do that. If I eat one more time a day, you're going to see me at Walmart on the scooter wearing pajama jeans. All right? God bless my wife, though. I've lost 20 pounds in 3 weeks. My wife got me a trainer, and I've lost 20 pounds trying to avoid him for the last 3 weeks. I've done that. I was on Nutrisystem for a while, and I'd done commercials for them. You ever see my Nutrisystem commercials? That's right. I reckon they're a little upset at me about right now. I'm bad for business. I'm the only guy ever went from doing Nutrisystem commercials to heartburn medication. Right up there. I'm 2 biscuits away from a sleep apnea contract. No doubt about it. But I try to lose weight. It's hard to do. I blame a lot of it on Foxworthy for promoting the daggum Golden Corral commercials. You ever eat the Golden Corral? Boy, that's good stuff. Don't take more than 2 trips at the buffet, though. I'll tell you that much. Your toilet will take a knee. I guarantee you. I guarantee you that ain't good. And I hate all these food police that try to make up stories so you don't eat at Golden Corral. That irritates me. I'm on the internet the other day. There's an icon on there that says, click on this, you'll never eat at Golden Corral again. I'm like, what in the world? I click on it. It was me. I love Golden Corral. I ate at Golden Corral last week so many times, Chris Christie started following me on Twitter. All right? But I haven't lost my weight. I done Mater in the movie Cars. And that's right. And that's how I gained weight. I wanted to do good, so I put on weight, you know. A tow truck's a lot of weight, so that's how good I am. I'm the only guy that puts on weight to do voiceovers. Let me say this. I got a funny story I want to tell you about Mater real quick. I was doing the Disney cruise, the launch of the Fantasy, my first time ever. And they wanted me on there. Everybody's on there. The Disney execs, the Pix execs, Bob Iger, John Lasseter. And John wanted me to come and do 2 shows in the showroom. I said, yeah, John, I'll do it. So I get done, and this is a true story. He goes, hey, do me a favor. Go up to where the ship's captain is, make a ship's announcement. as mater and tell everybody thanks for coming on the boat, and then when you're done, introduce you and tell everybody thanks for coming to the show. They'll love it on the boat. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm mater, so there's not much of a difference, but I guess I'll do it. But this is exactly how the announcement sounded that day on the boat. Hey, everybody, this is Mater. Like tomato without the tough. Boy, I tell you what, I'm happier than a tornado in the trailer park that you had me come on this boat and that y'all come on and visit us too. And I'll tell you what, if you ever get to Radiator Springs, shoot, we'll do some backward driving. All right then, this is Mater, and don't forget, you and me, we's best friends. Now hold on, here's my buddy Larry the Cable Guy to say something to you. Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy. Thank you so much, everybody. Hey, thank you so much. I think, thanks for having me at this. This is a big deal. I know that Dave and them wanted me, you guys are gonna come out and do something with me. But thanks for having me. This is really awesome that you would invite me to this, so I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Come on, everybody.
Thank
Larry
you.
the Cable Guy. So awesome.
Is this mine, or is that yours? Why don't I sit in the middle of you?
Wherever you like.
Yeah, you don't want me to sit on the end. People, there's a lot of eye candy up here. Darn right. A lot of eye candy.
Man, so I think one of the great things about this particular time is that in all the times that you've gone out and done comedy, you've never done that as Larry the Cable Guy and then come off of that persona, that character, and then just really just get to be the real you.
No, you know what? This will be awesome. I'm gonna come in. You know, whenever people always say he's always Larry the Cable Guy, and I say to myself, well, because when I go out and do stuff, you hire me to be Larry the Cable Guy. So every time people see me, I'm Larry the Cable Guy, and I have never ever been on stage where I have not done myself after the show. So right now I'm gonna do it. So I will do my real voice for you guys. This is the real me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Whitney is in the house. Come on. The real Dan Whitney. A rare, rare treat.
Thank you very much. You know, when I first started doing the character, I was quite surprised about the whole thing. And so fantastic, just fantastic. Yeah, no, you know, it's really funny. I grew up in Nebraska on a Go Big Red, Turner Gill, baby, Turner Gill. So I grew up in Nebraska on a pig farm, and my whole life was a farm, livestock, loading cattle trucks, and but we didn't really have an accent, you know. But I'm a country boy, and then I moved to Florida, and I lived in Florida 33 years, and Foxworthy and I've been friends since 1986, and I defy anybody. I went to college in Georgia, Baptist College in Georgia, and I defy anybody to move to the South and live there more than 2 years and not start morphing into something kind of like this. You know what I mean? So, but that's where I come from. I come from Nebraska, and I'm just a country kid from Nebraska that developed a character, and that's how I do my shows.
How did you develop? Like Larry the Cable Guy was obviously some of you, right?
Well, yeah, you know what? I did all kinds of characters. I wanted to be a comedian, and so I was a comedian, and you're always looking for some extra money because they're not really paying you a lot of money early on. And so I did several characters, and a buddy of mine had a morning show, and he said, man, that thing you're doing, that Larry the Cable Guy, it was just something that I just did on stage. Or on the radio. I never thought I would bring it to the stage. I tried it out on stage when I was just open micing, and it was funny, but it wasn't anything groundbreaking. But when I did it on radio, it just struck a nerve. And I basically took everybody that I grew up with, and I love All in the Family. It was a great show, and I just thought it was so funny. So I wanted to make this guy that was kind of like an Archie Bunker type guy, but he was likable, or he was really likable. And so I wanted to make it likable. I wanted to make it funny. And so that's how I developed. I never ever thought in a million years I'd do it on stage. And I ended up getting syndicated on 3 stations, then 27 stations ultimately. Wow. And a lot of people think I came out of nowhere, but I used to call in and do social commentaries, and they were really crazy. And I called 27 radio stations 5 days a week for 13 years. Wow. And it just connected. Wow. And somebody billed me one time as Larry the Cable Guy on stage and not my real name. And I kind of got mad because I didn't perform as that. And I said, well, you know what? I'll go up and do a little bit of it. And I couldn't follow it. I would come out of the character and go into what I do, and it tanked. And so I got done. He goes, can you do your whole show like that? And I said, yeah, I talk like a redneck 24 hours a day. It ain't a big deal to me. And so that's what I did. I said, if I'm going to go on stage, and I'm going to dress like I want. So I literally went back to where I was, my hotel room, and put on what I drove over in the car in. A pair of lace-up roper boots, a pair of jeans, a cut-off, sleeveless Nebraska t-shirt, and a NASCAR ball cap. That's what I drove over in. And from that point on, I just never went back the other way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's how it started.
You live in Nebraska with your family.
Please hold your applause till all this is over. Thank you.
And, you live in Lincoln, Nebraska. Tell us about your family.
It's like we got boogers in our noses or something. You know, everybody's like staring at us.
Tell us about your family.
My dad was a preacher. My mom was an Elvis impersonator. I found that odd myself. And no, I'm just kidding. My mom was a housewife, but my dad was one of those backwoods Southern. I don't know where he got his accent. I think from Missouri, because my dad was from Kansas. And my dad would get to preach, and then, hello, say it, you know, and he'd had the whole thing going on. So my dad was a preacher, and he played guitar with the Everly Brothers in the late 40s, early 50s. And so that's kind of where I get my sense of humor. Everybody in my family's funny. My dad, he was, you know, he was a backwoods preacher, you know. And I grew up kind of in a strange Christian environment. Because my dad, I mean, he had a master's degree in Greek and he spoke fluent Hebrew, Greek. You could look at my dad and go, hey, Tom, Isaiah chapter 2, verse 6. And he'd not only say it, he'd say it in Greek and Hebrew. But my dad also, coming home from church, was cussing like a sailor. Because he was just this back home country preacher, and I always kind of found that kind of strange, you know. And it never hurt my faith at all, because humans are humans, you know. But that's the environment, that's the Christian environment that I grew up in. You know, I was a country kid living on a pig farm. My dad was a preacher and cussed like a sailor and played guitar on the weekends. So if that's not enough to take some sort of a narcotic, I don't know what is. You know what I mean?
So you're speaking of family, your daughter's name is Reagan.
My little girl's name is Reagan. That's right, after the greatest president to ever come across this country. And
notice you don't have a son named Clinton.
No.
Are you?
No, but
so you're a Republican. The real Dan Whitney is a far-right Republican.
We were saying that earlier. I have a dog, though, that I have to let out to take a Dukakis. Okay, I have to do that. But no, my little girl's name is Reagan, and her first words, believe it or not, were, Mr. Larry, tear down this crib. That was her first words. And my little boy is named Nixon. That's a joke. I'm just kidding.
His name is not Nixon.
His name's Wyatt. He's 9, going on Ritalin, and he's a good kid. I love him to death. And you know, here's the thing about kids. It's unbelievable that God can create. Because I never had kids. I started late. I was 43 when I got married. Had kids when I was 27, 30, 32. No, just kidding. I was 43 when I got married. I had my first kid at 45. And it's amazing to me how much you just look at this kid and how much kids just not only change your life, but it's just something that God created that it's unbelievable how you can just look at it and it just makes you cry. And you would do anything for it. And then the next minute, you want to slap the garbage out of it. You know what I mean? Because they're so infuriating sometimes. But I love them to death. They're unbelievable. I was going to homeschool our kids, and then my wife reminded, yes, but my wife reminded me I was an idiot, so we didn't do that. So we couldn't do that. Yeah. But I was always scared of bullies and stuff, because my little boys both of them have such good hearts, and they're such good kids, and I actually do homeschool my kids. We have a homeschool group where 16 families got together, and it's an awesome situation. And but I was just always worried about bullies, you know, because I remember I was bullied once, and a fourth grader wanted to beat me up, and it freaked me out. But I did the right thing. I went back out. I got in my car, and I told my wife she could go pick the kids up from school next time. So that's what I did. Maybe we should have done my whole bit from the table. You know what I mean? That might have.
Well, we know that part of raising kids and having a great family is a huge part of that is spiritual growth. And one of the guys that you listen to, I think, on a daily basis is David Jeremiah, who just spoke here. His grandson is a student here. David Todd, I don't know where he is, but he's a student here. There he is, plays on the football team.
Yeah, and, we actually went to breakfast a few months ago. Was it like last month?
Yeah.
We went to breakfast, and your dad owes me like $32 for that. He walked out on that breakfast, so tell Dr. Jeremiah. And I like Ravi Zachariah, too. I listen to Ravi. But a lot of Ravi, though, you have to like go to a dictionary and try to figure out what he says every 10 minutes.
It's pretty deep stuff. But tell us about your faith in Christ, how you came to know the Lord and all that.
I came to know Jesus when I was a kid. And like I said, I grew up. But, you know, it's kind of crazy with me because, and I always wondered if, it's really hard to be a preacher's kid and have any kind of a cool testimony. You know, because you always hear these people give their testimony. And then I got into drugs and I was half dead and I was doing this. And then the Lord pulled me out. I don't have that story. I became a Christian when I was a kid, did everything, went to a Baptist school, we did the outreach, I mean, everything. And then, like always, like a lot of preachers' kids, you just fall by the wayside. And you know he's always there. God has never left me. He's always been with me, all the time. But then you get in the entertainment business. Let me tell you something about the entertainment business. It just pulls you in. I've never drunk. I've never done drugs. I've never done anything like that. I will say that there's a lot of things. Well, to make a long story short, I kind of fell in that depths of that garbage for a while. And then about 2 years ago, I rededicated my life. And I gotta tell you, this is always rough for me to talk about because I love Jesus so much. And I feel, I didn't want to do this tonight, but I just feel horrible about some of the things that I've done. And unlike other people, everything that I did and said is on tape for everybody to see. I'm proud. I'm proud of some things that I've done. I've had an awesome career. I've done some amazing things. But there's things that I've done on stage. Now that I'm back in the fold and I'm back with my Savior, there's things that I look back on and I wish I wouldn't have done it. And men don't forgive you, and I don't care if men forgive me or people. Jesus forgives me. You know what I mean? And that's, he does, and it's, well, you know, it's, when people always say, oh, what are you going to go up there and cry about stuff? It's not that I'm sad, I'm happy. I'm happy, you know. I've always been happy. Those years that I went down into the depths, you know, and you're doing stuff, I wasn't as happy. I knew Jesus was always there, but I wasn't as happy. I've never lost my salvation. Jesus isn't going to let me go because that was the stuff. I got saved when I was a kid, and by gosh, by things I was saved. but the devil gets a hold of you. You know what I mean? But Jesus never leaves you. The prodigal son, he's always there if you come back to him. And I came back to him. And I'm not perfect. It's like my buddy Beeman, my tour manager, says. God brought him to me. I got branches still falling off me. You know, I ain't a complete tree. I got branches still falling, just like everybody else. There's nobody in here that's perfect.
That's so powerful, you know, to just be so open and transparent and authentic. We got to so embrace when God's going to be bringing many of his sons and daughters back. People that have never known him before are going to come, and they're going to come just like we come with all of our luggage and all of our things, and we just got to embrace them. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. I think about this. I think about when Jesus said, this is kind of how it is. You had this one man that was coming up, and he looked towards the temple, and he just thought, oh man, you know, I feel so bad about myself, my shame, my sin. And he falls to his knees and he starts beating his chest, right? And then this other guy, he stood up in some flowing robe and he's a Pharisee. This is Jesus, the Son of God, telling us the story. And he says, and this was his prayer, he said, I just thank God I'm not like him. And he was pointing him down basically to the man that was beating his chest. And this is what God says through his son. He said, the one that's beating his chest, the one that has all this luggage that just humbled his heart and just said, you know, I want Jesus, but I know I need forgiveness. I mean, that's the one that made it. The one that was in this flowing robe didn't make it.
Yeah.
And when God's, I mean, we're going to, breakthrough is not just a financial breakthrough. It's a breakthrough for kingdom finances to be able to bring in the harvest. And you're going to start seeing, I mean, you think about, you know, all the wealth that he has gained, you know, in his career. And now he's saying, listen, I just want to be able to bless. And we'll make the whole thing available to you on the VFN Torch, but he talks about, I think, a $500,000 foundation in Orlando, Florida, the hip dysplasia, that they building for babies all around the world to be able to be, they're having these plastic hips. These babies are being held wrong. And it's a real simple thing to be able just to educate people on how you hold your baby. And so they're willing, they built this entire wing onto a hospital in Orlando, I believe it is. And it's called Git-R-Done. His fund's called Git-R-Done. And they're doing all these things, you know, for military and for families. And there's so many wonderful things. It's just we have to guard the environment and make sure that they don't become so beautifully raw and all of a sudden they become religious. And it's like, oh, what happened to you?
Yes.
You got a flowing robe on. You used to be so authentic. And we really try to do that here on VFN TV and in the VFN family. Just like, you know, we're real. We're saved by God's grace. We share our testimonies at meetmyfather.org so you can know a little bit about us. But, you know, God forgives. And we're looking at, you know, Larry the Cable Guy. Daniel Whitney is his actual name. And that's a character that he plays. And he's given his life to the Lord, and it's been a couple years now. His wife's witnessing the phone.
Thank you for watching the Greg Lancaster Show. Don't forget to follow us, like us, and subscribe. Go to our YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, Rumble, Parler, Spotify, iTunes. Download our app, even on Git-R. Go to the Apple Store and rate us. When you rate us, more people will get the broadcast. That's how this whole logarithm thing works. And thank you for watching the Greg Lancaster Show.